Yeah, we got some time. Let's speak on that, sick boy. Do you think it was you got to understand you drove one of the most aggressive races of all time and then didn't have POV for any of it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was nice to have a car in Monaco to follow. It turned the first few laps from a bit of a snooze fest into quite exciting, although it was came at a cost. And that cost is sitting here with me in the commentary booth for the first 15 minutes of this session. How do you feel? How do you feel about Shanghai? I think this is a fairly friendly track for overtakes. Do you feel confident in your ability to make a run at it from the back of the grid? Yeah. A bit of a bummer too, because I think Shanghai is quite a interesting strategy choice for drivers, and like you're saying, it really just takes that out of the equation. Everybody will be starting on mediums or hards, I would expect. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh boy. Yeah. Yep. Quite a fun one though. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite tracks. As I was telling the Ferrari boys, Monaco and Mexico, two are my least favorite. So I'm really excited to get to this stretch of the calendar. I think this track is pretty open. I think gives quite a lot of chances for overtakes throughout the circuit. So I'm honestly expecting a banger of a race today. We'll be excited to see what you do starting from the back row, but we won't have to wait too much longer to find out how our qualifying will line up. It is a rainy day here in Shanghai around this 5,400 kilometer track. We are racing 28 laps. What are you talking? Uh, don't you do any shenanigans causing yellow flags or anything like that up here, Mister. You are just trying to speed run a race ban. I think that's what is going on here. Yeah. Yeah. And the first car on the track is your teammate, Steph. 12:10 leading the pack. He will be the first one to get a hot lap on the board, and as such, he will be the first one that we tag along with for a ride around this Shanghai circuit. Yep. Why are you controlling the car? You are banned from quali. Oh, Steph has invalidated on that first corner. That is painful. That means he will have to take a whole trip around. And nice job, mate, will now be the first to set a hot lap. We'll ride on board with him. But Steph just running a little too wide in that last corner, which can be easy to do. Yep, the turn on to the checkered straight. So it's yeah, take some cojones though. If you do that wrong, you will be flying. Right. Yeah, I was talking to Dark, who suggested the same thing. We were sharing clips of our laps around Shanghai, and he told me you can cut that last corner, and I tried, and it worked out quite a few times, but then also quite a few times it sent you spinning if you mess it up. And so for me, it is not worth it to risk it, but that may be why I'm in Tier 2. So it'll be interesting to see if some of the Tier 1 lot really have the confidence to nail it right and throw themselves around it. We're going to get our first look at that corner at the end of this lap as Nice Job Mate comes spinning out of that last hairpin. He still is able to keep it under control, but I think he'll be able to improve this going forward. He's going to come across the line with a 144.5. And that will be provisional pole, but several other cars coming in behind him as Tristan goes 0.3 slower. Dark has, yep. Wait. I thought you said the Sick Boys. Would you say that? You said it was like a. Okay. Yeah. It, yeah, unfortunate for B-Rod on his first run out of the pits. Doesn't get a lap in. He is headed back in. Right now we have 13 times on the board. Dark up there at 2 minutes. Obviously not a hot lap quite, but Robert's time standing at top. Poppy coming in just shortly behind him, 0.3, but still, I would expect these times to get a lot better. Drivers coming out, getting a feel for the track before they really start pushing it, as we'll see. Oh! Yeah, and I sort of expected him to head into the pits after that spin, but he will not. He stays out, finishes the lap, does not improve. Sky coming across the line now. I don't think he's going to improve. Lemkis does get up to a 144.4, so he beats out Poppy. A great lap from the AlphaTauri as Robert Diaz does improve by 4 tenths, getting closer and closer to that low 143 time we're hoping to see. He will sit atop pole still, as a proper shout out is deserved for the man in the Alfa Romeo car who got his first lap time in, Mirko, with one of the best qualifying laps I think we have ever seen in VFL last week at Monaco. An absolute ripper of a lap. He took pole and went on to his first win, so he is coming in a bit hot, as well as Connor Kidd, who placed second in that race. So it will be lots of eyes on the Alfa Romeo team as they finally start to hit their stride. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, I did not know that. Oh, man. And that is awful for these guys that weren't able to get their times up on the board. I mean, namely, I'm looking at the two Ferrari drivers who did not get a competitive lap time. And as you're saying, the conditions are worsening quickly. B-Rob is on a hot lap now. Dark just got out there for an out lap. So Dark, who is standing atop the qualifying leaderboard heading into this race, has quite a challenge in front of him, and you think there's almost no way he'll be able to challenge pole anymore. Oh, wait. Well, I've seen in... They do have some setting off. I just saw in Discord that they cannot hear you on stream.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Did you bottle it? Was that your fault? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Right, there we go. I was just getting my anger out a little bit there. BJ.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Man, you shouldn't have told me. I was in the zone.
I know. I thought that was some
out.
good content.
Man, but real quick, let's just pan over to B-Rob real quick. He's on a flying lap and he's only able to set a 146.1 or just shy of. Yeah, I mean it's full wet conditions, like I said out there, and surely the drivers are not going to be able to challenge anywhere near pole. Like I said, I think being in the wet conditions affects you by about 2 seconds. So the best you can expect, a pole lap around here right now, would just be enough for P17 ahead of B-Rob. I mean, these drivers have been caught out. That is exactly what has happened.
I am heartbroken.
And Dark Inferno, and that's pretty much the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, because as I said, the qualifying is started in intermediate conditions, and it's quickly turned to full wet conditions now, and there is absolutely no way that they can kind of have
and
a
that's
stab
tragedy
at the
for Ferrari. You will have
fast
some company starting towards the back, sir. Be nice to the boys in red for me.
I mean, me and Dark Inferno are used to starting together right at the very back of the grid. I mean, that gives us a nice little segue over to the IKR team event. I mean, VFL, obviously, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but VFL have joined a league, a team-based F1 league, with a cash prize. And I think we've had 3 rounds now, and it's every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, so be sure to tune in to Dark Inferno stream whenever we're racing.
Yeah, but surely neither of you will ever challenge for a win, right?
I mean, surely we will never challenge for a win, apart from last
maybe
race.
Maybe Dark might be.
Maybe Dark could challenge for a win, but
I can't see you ever really sniffing the top.
I couldn't see myself winning.
How have you done in the races? What'd you do in the last one, just say?
Just saying, the last one, for example, it was a really tough race, really, and I scored more points than I thought I was going to. We'll leave it at that. It was only due to sheer luck alone.
Sick Boy
go ahead.
Sick Boy did take home the victory. He's prancing around it, but he did indeed get a P1 finish. Very impressive stuff. I was watching, cheering you on. Congratulations on that race, man.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I mean, I didn't even realise that you were watching. BJ, I can't believe it, that you were watching the stream. That is incredible. But, yeah, it's a really, really tough league. And I still stand by the fact that I ended up winning on luck alone. And it's because it was Hungary, and it's one of those tracks in which... so it was really interesting. It was intermediate conditions right at the very end. And me and Dark had a really good idea. We were like, look, we're both outside the top 10. We got absolutely smoked in qualifying. I think I started like P11. I did actually start P11, but I think Dark started maybe about P14, P15. So we were absolutely smoked in qualifying. But because it was intermediate conditions right at the very end, we were like, why don't we just start on the hards? You know, everybody else is going to pit, and we're not going to pit until the rain comes. And I guess that was the right call. We had already kind of won the race at that point because they were way, way quicker than us. But they weren't 26 seconds quicker than us. And we ended up doing really well. Dark Inferno turned it around. I mean, he was backwards at the end of lap 1, taken out by a Red Bull driver, and he ended up finishing inside the top 10. And again, I still think it was down to luck. All the drivers ahead of me had 3-second time penalties, so I jumped a couple of positions in the end. And yeah, managed to get a really good result. So I'm really happy, but dude, it was a long time coming. I mean, we've had the worst luck when it comes to race 1 and race 2. Race 1, we scored literally 0 points. It was a joke. It was an embarrassment. And race 2, me and Steph, it was a struggle. We were racing as hard as possible, and I think we got maybe P7 and P9, so it's a really, really tough race. But it's good that it's kind of turning it around, and we need those points because we were last and then we were in P9 after round 2. Now I think we've jumped up to about P7 or P6, and it is a cash prize for the top 3 teams. So,
taking a quick trip back to VFL, Tom Taylor seems to be having some fun in the rain, doing some donuts off to the side here. Qualifying session is practically over. He is being joined by a Red Bull now. I think they may be doing some tandem donuts. Yep, MOC,
I wonder why they're doing donuts, PJ.
I think they may
you tell me why.
Just be very excited for Shanghai and trying to...
I think so.
I think, you know what I think it is? They're actually trying to really get those tires warm. Oh, and now they collide.
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to be... Yep, and there's a 5-place Griffin, of course. Of course.
Oh, no, that is, to be honest...
you could have seen that coming.
I feel like Tom Taylor was asking for a 5-place grid penalty, and that means that I'm going to be alongside my former Alfa Romeo driver, Tom Taylor, on the back row of the grid. I mean, I think you're quite right that they're only doing these to just warm up their tyres, make sure they're nice and warm for the race, and maybe they're just excited to be in China. I mean,
who wouldn't? And you got some time to kill. What else are you going to do here? Not a bad session for you to be banned from, really. I mean, what a weird qualifying session. Lots of drivers in different places where they're used to. We have Lemkis starting on the second row. I think that's his best starting position. Poppy in P4, his best starting position, I believe. And, of course, Cole was epic, rounding out the front row with Robert Diaz.
Man, I think we might as well segue over. I've got no idea how much time we've got left because there's a Sector 3 yellow flag because Tom Taylor's still doing donuts. But we might as well go for PJ's pre-race prediction rather than on the warm-up lap. Who do you think is going to take the top step of the podium this weekend?
I think this will be a return to glory for the Season 2 reigning champion Robert Diaz. I believe he is yet to win a race this season. Obviously, it's a little safe bet since he is starting on pole, but I mean, I don't think Robert's pace has dropped off or anything. I think he's just had a tough few races, so he is due for a little
Yeah.
rebound race, and he has set himself up well to do so today. So he is my pick for the race winner.
Do you think the Mercedes team in general are going to do well? Do you see nice job, mate? Maybe jump in. He's only got to jump at like 3 positions, and he's joining his Mercedes teammate on the podium as well. I mean,
Yeah,
or
he
what
could.
team do
I
you
think
think?
there. I think there will be quite a few guys behind him who are really ripping through. I mean, one of them I'm talking to. I also, of course, expect Dark Inferno to make a run through this grid. But I mean, who knows? Nice job made. Obviously, he's a very good driver. He could end up on the podium. But I won't put all my eggs into the Mercedes basket. I will just leave it with Robert Diaz for now.
Ooh, Dark Inferno. I think he's desperate to maybe jump 1 position and jump, or even a couple, jump B-Rob and MOC. But he's had a massive snap of oversteer outside that final turn. And in fact, let's be on board with him right now because I do think he's trying to jump MOC and
Yeah,
B-Rob. I mean, we
and why
saw
not?
B-Rob set. Yeah, so we saw B-Rob set a 146.099 in the wet on the wet tires. So I mean, every little helps when it comes to China. And if he can jump a couple of positions in qualifying, then let's do it. I mean, let's kind of go through the track a little bit, PJ. How much do you know about Shanghai? Do you know which are the best overtaking spots? We've just seen one coming
Yeah,
into the turn that Dark Inferno just went into. Brilliant overtaking
I
spot.
even think this bend right here could be an overtake spot if you have a different setup than the car in front of you. I remember I was doing a social race, and I forgot who it was, but you could tell that they had a much lower downforce car than I did. So on that
Mm.
bend, I didn't have to lift it all, and they did, and I was able to hold the inside line and squeeze past them. So I think that's an interesting spot. And then obviously we have, I'd say the biggest one being this final hairpin towards the end of Sector 3 with a massive straight leading up to it. I think is the best spot to pull something off, in my opinion.
Ooh. Little bit of oversteer from Dark Inferno outside of, I think that's turn 12. And yeah, you're right, they are definitely the best overtaking opportunities. But I tell you what, do not underestimate turn 1. Not just on the first lap, but in the Grand Prix anyway. The majority of my overtakes, like in previous championships, have been in turn 1 because
Interesting.
everyone always, expects a dive bomb down to the hairpin. But I think that the massive DRS straight kind of gets you near the car ahead, and then it's a really long DRS straight from turn 14 to turn 1 that actually gets you the ability to overtake. And a lot of people, they hug like the outside line, so if you just stick the nose in on the inside, you can get a really nice overtake, and it looks cool as well because you're kind of side by side and everything.
Alright, so Sick Boy, that is the end of our qualifying session, although one could say it ended quite a long time ago. Tom Taylor will receive a 5-place penalty for his donuts in collision with MOC. Besides that, scrolling through the qualifying table now, I'm going to run and get a drink before the race starts. You are going to run into your car before the race starts and get into it. Thank you very much for joining me in the comms box. Always a pleasure to have you, of course, and best of luck in the race. And I would like to reiterate, take it easy on my boys in red out there.
I mean, if the
Just
Ferrari
take it
drivers are
easy.
blocking, if the Ferrari drivers are blocking me, I've got no choice
Just
but to do a
take
Monaco.
it easy, okay?
PJ, just like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Ferrari boys are not finishing this race today.
Bro, what
They
the
are.
hell are you? Bucks are the reigning champions of the NBA. I don't know why you try to throw shade at them. They're literally the reigning champions. All right, all right, man.
On that note, I feel like I'm getting a little bit intimidated here, ladies and gentlemen, in this box.
I
So
hope so.
I'm gonna release the shackles. I'm gonna exit the commentary box. I'm gonna jump in my car and I'm gonna lose the race.
All right, we'll see you out there, sick boy. Have a good race.
See ya.
Alright, we're back. Formation lap is underway. And the race is almost underway. Quite a weird starting grid we have, as it was pretty much a one-shot quali, sort of two-shot quali, I guess. And what just happened to the two front runners? I was looking away, there may have been some contact, and they will both start with some cold tires. Okay, the last few drivers are making their way to the checkered flag straight to get set on the grid. As they do now, that is Sipboy in the back, starting from P20, Robert DS and Colas Epic starting on the front row, and going to be lots to watch as this race starts. We'll try to catch a wide view of it and keep track. But without further ado, Shanghai VFL Season 3, Race 4 or 5, I forgot. Lights are up and lights are out. Away we go. And the McLaren, and Poppy seems to have an incredible jump. He gets past Cole with ease, and he's going to challenge for P1 into turn 1. He collides with the AlphaTauri, then the Mercedes, and goes spinning down the track. That is Poppy taking quite a big turn. And that was Lemkes who he made contact with. And the drivers will continue on trying to sort themselves out. There goes Nice Job Mate making a move up the inside. He's already up to P3. A great start from him. Mirko bumping shoulders with Cole is epic as Cole will dive down the inside. We already have a 5-second penalty given out to Tristan. Oh, and there's still more action. Is Connor Kidd bumping with Cole in the LP? Could they keep it clean around this long bend? Sky trying to get into it. He won't be able to. United one close behind him. And do we have another person who's fallen back? That is JKS, who is spawning. That is Cole was epic, who is returned from the session. And there's more collisions now. Everybody's taking it to the front wing. I couldn't even see who that was. And a virtual safety car will come out after all of that. As we try to recap, that is Sickboy gaining 12 spots off the start. What happened there? There was so much action to watch even at the front of the grid that I didn't catch what was going on at the back, but clearly some big moves being made. Poppy was the first one to fall, who recovered down in P16, but he may likely be without a front wing. No, he still does have one. We'll watch to see if he goes into the pits as the VSC ends. And that's Dark making a move on the Haas, as B-Rob trying to make a move on the Haas as well. Both of the Haas boys fighting with the Ferraris. Pit as the inside line. It's a tricky corner to try to overtake on. B-Rob will get the better exit and then pass Pit on the straight. Very well done from B-Rob. Are there any other moves on into turn 1? We saw Sickboy mention that he likes to do it in turn 1, and he goes on the inside of the Aston Martin and gets the spot. That's 13 positions gained in one trip around the circuit. As we move on down, now Poppy and Pitt seem to be battling. Poppy will come out ahead of that one. And for now, Lemkes will hold P1. Robert Diaz, a second and a half back from him now. As Sickboy is really pressing his luck on his ex-team. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting things mixed up. on his ex-rival team, I suppose. The Alpine United one losing the back end just a little bit out of that exit. Will that let Sick Boy go down the inside? No, it won't. He may try to hold it for this straight. As let's also pull up the tires and see what everybody's racing on. We see United one is on hards, defending against Sick Boy on these mediums that won't last him. He's got a very strong slipstream. He'll pull out to the right side. He doesn't need to lay on the ERS. He will be able to outbrake the Alpine with these medium tires. As long as he does so well, United 1 will have to forfeit the spot for now, and Sick Boy is up to P6. Most everyone's starting on those mediums. That could be a one-stop onto hards, or it could be a two-stop. Using two sets of soft, yet to be seen. DRS is enabled. Do we have any moves happening at the beginning of lap 3? It doesn't look like it. Sky, he's had a fantastic start so far. Secured a very good qualifying position and has since moved up 2 places into P5. Sick Boy is over a second back from him, so he has some time to enjoy that position. Meanwhile, Connor the Kid is into the pits as well as MOC, both needing wing repair, and that is a big tumble for the Alfa Romeo, who, as was mentioned, coming off a fantastic weekend in Monaco. A big start from the Ferraris. Dark has gained 7 places, and B-Rob has moved up 4. Oh, and that's Sky going on the inside of Mirko, last week's race winner. Can he do it? He gets him on the inside of that turn, but will now have to cover the inside of this long bendy turn into the straight. Who is going to receive DRS is the thing to look for, as Sick Boy managed to pull within a 10th from that scuffle. And it is Mirko with the DRS. He will fly by Sky's, as will Sick Boy, and Sky, for all the work that he just did there. A fantastic overtake. He'll lose it and fly into the back of Sick Boy. I won't say anything about a little taste of your own medicine from last week, buddy, as Sky hands him the spot back. Sick Boy skidding a bit on that exit, as we have yellow flags in Sector 3. Any incidents there that may have been Tom Taylor off? As now he and JKS are very, very close, but we got to keep our eyes up at the top. Is Sky trying to go around the outside of United 1? Quite difficult to do so. Goes for the inside on this follow-up turn, and they'll come out about wheel to wheel, and a little too much wheel to wheel. Their wheels bump. Sky loses it. He'll have to fall behind United 1 and now defend from Tristan, who has not lost his step. Nothing going on that dive bomb. And he will continue to follow close behind the Red Bull driver. And the biggest gap right now, aside from ones towards the bottom, is Mirko, who has 3.8 seconds up to P3. So the podium runners right now feeling quite safe. They are all on mediums, as we see only 2 people started on those hards. That's just United 1 and Steph. Perhaps some of the guys at the bottom, I don't think any of them started on their hards. And a safety car's out. Who is that for? I have no clue what that safety car is for. Oh, that's United 1. I'm sorry. So that's both the Alpines are out of the race before lap 5. Sky will head into the pit, as will Sick Boy, as will Mirko, as will Robert. They are throwing on those hards, and that should be able to last you to the end of the race. Quite a fortunate safety car for the medium runners. Ooh, as our safety car will come out, and we will have to wait quite a bit for this one to sort itself out. This grid is stretched out in Shanghai. Quite a lot of action through the first few laps. Take a look at the biggest position change. Well, it's a bit tricky to look now because we do have quite a few people who just went in to stop for new tires. And Dark was one of them. I don't think I saw that. Dark moving on to the hards, I believe, as well. Tom Taylor is the only one going on to soft, so he's looking at a 2-stop race. And the gap that separated the podium runners is non-existent any longer. And not only that, but it is some new podium runners as Tristan has got himself up there. Pretty much all of the guys who started on mediums are the ones who are at the top of the grid now, save for Steph, who is ignoring this safety car, staying out on the hards. He'll try to stretch those for a very long while and see if he can get lucky at the end of the race. But again, it may be a fairly lengthy safety car. Certainly at least one more trip around the track with the little red guy leading. I'm pretty surprised that everyone is not pitting on these mediums. I mean, the mediums do not last too long on this track, and the hards really do. You can stretch hards nearly, I mean, for nearly the whole race on the hards, you can manage it. And so I would have expected a safety car to send everyone into the pits, but it was sort of just half of the grid. Front 8 stay out. Uh-oh. There's some trading of spots going on here. Uh-oh. What is happening? And the grid is nearly reformed now as MOC reaches this straight. And the safety car does come in this lap. I was worried that we would have one more behind it, but it is out in a hurry. Lemkis will have quite a job to defend now. An incredible qualifying position from him. He managed to hold on to the lead after a little bit of battle with Poppy. And now he will have to defend from Nice Job and Tristan right on his tail. Steph on those hards, and there's a little bit of contact between Tristan and Nice Job. No penalties served and no penalties deserved, thankfully. Oh, did that cost him? No, that was from earlier. Lemkis will hold it to turn 1 as Nice goes a little deep, and there goes Steph on the inside of Tristan. Tristan caught sleeping. He will have the inside back on this turn. But will it be enough? These two battling very hard. Can hear the sounds of their car hitting each other, but no collision that sends either off the line. Will any dive bombs being occurring here? And that's Robert Diaz making a move up on Poppy. They're going side by side. Right behind him is Sick Boy. They're very tightly packed, these three. Robert trying to get Poppy around the inside. They're going wheel to wheel, which will mean Robert will have the inside, shoves Poppy off. And it will keep P8. Very strong driving from the Mercedes driver as Sky and MOC teammates collide, and Sky receives a penalty for it. And there goes a dive bomb on the McLaren. Poppy trying to defend, and he actually does hold him off. Great defense from Poppy, pushing him to the limits of the track and making him wait another turn. That's Oda going to the inside of the straight, not sure why. He may be trying to avoid the slipstream from Robert, but Robert is about even with him, and this is going to be a very fun turn to watch. Here we go. Poppy going down the inside of Oda, even trying to pull off a double overtake, but really just gives the overtake to Robert, and Oda will slide down. Sick Boy manages to grab the McLaren, closes him off, and Mirko's trying to get in on the action now as well. He gets by the McLaren, and Poppy is struggling to hold on to this position. Oh, and there goes Mirko sliding. I'm not sure if there's contact between him and Sick Boy, but he will go off the track. He does hold it, so he just loses a couple spots as there's more contact between Sick Boy and the McLaren. Now it's Dark and Mirko going side by side into this hairpin. And will Mirko look to make a move? He does. He's going down the inside. Will he be able to pull it off? Dark playing nicely. They come out wheel by wheel. And Dark will hold on to it, but Poppy and Sick Boy are still battling side by side. Some good action off the race start as Sick Boy does get that spot back. Poppy on 7-lap mediums already. I would expect you to see some high levels of wear come in. A lot more than usual for those medium tires. In my practice, they did run pretty quickly, and finally things settled down for one turn at least. Mirko keeping himself out of the back of Dark, goes a little too deep in that turn. Luke J. Gilly just 2/10 back from Steph, who's stranded without a slipstream on hard tires. Luke will get the pass as he gets by him safely before the hairpin, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 3. Don't see any major incidents that would have caused that. Connor Kidd going on the outside of Oda. Oda going to try to hold it on the inside. Is there enough room for Connor? There is, or there was at least. Now they'll come out side by side going into this very dangerous last corner. Oda does get ahead, but runs a little wide, and that will let Connor Kidd get a better exit, lay on the ERS, and try to get him into turn 1, which he does. But there's still battle to be had as Oda will not let this go. Connor Kidd having to work for it, trying to get behind his teammate. He does, but now Oda seemed to get a better exit. Couldn't time it right and goes into the back of him as Steph loses spot to B-Rob, but then B-Rob loses it right back. Will they come out side by side? Steph has a little bit ahead of him. And B-Rob has to slow down. That's dangerous. Thankfully, Robert Diaz, there's a little bit of gap between him. As Sick Boy's still on the hunt, he's trying to get in there as Robert goes on his Rob counterpart, snuggles up to him mid-apex and uses it to get a better exit. He will move up to P6, and now Sick Boy careful not to go into the back of the Ferrari. He will go around the outside, then secure the inside on B-Rob, but B-Rob still fighting for it. Can he hold? And Sick Boy does have the grip to come out ahead. Sick Boy getting up to P7. And now the swerving begins as Robert Diaz tries to make the move on Steph. He does. Does Sick Boy get the move on Steph? He does. Does B-Rob get the move on Steph? He's looking for the outside, and he may have it. Steph, did he just lose 3 positions in one straight? They're coming out side by side, but B-Rob has the inside. He's backed out before, but he's going to take this one. And Steph will look for the cutback. He gets it. Now he comes out ahead of B-Rob. And Sick Boy trying to get into Robert as they collide. Robert goes to the left. That's Steph flying. Oh, and now another car comes in and hits him. And I'm not even sure who that was. His car's flying past this carnage. Steph loses out the most, as does Robert. Is Sick Boy okay? He seems to still be at the top. Does he have a wing? He does. I can't imagine there's no damage to that. B-Rob got past all of it, and he's up in P5 now. And Dark on the back of Sick Boy. It looked like Robert and Sick Boy challenging each other on that straight. Sick Boy behind Robert tried to make a move, just as Robert did, and the two collided into the wall, which had a bit of a waterfall effect, and that will cost Steph and Robert the most. But I swear there were more cars to that incident than I saw. And still, meanwhile, Lemkis holding P1, doing a fantastic job. Nice job, mate. Following him quite closely, but not anywhere close enough to get an overtake. Speaking of, Mirko moving to the inside of Poppy on this straight. He'll be able to pull side by side with him going into the hairpin. He's on the hard tires. Poppy on the medium. And Poppy goes for the cutback. Will look to take the outside of this last turn, but it's not going to be there. Mirko gets the move. He goes up to P8. And again, we'll take a look at who has gained the most positions at this point. Is Sick Boy, who has worked himself up to P6, gaining 14 spots from the back row. Here go Poppy and Mirko still battling. Mirko will hold on to that spot that he secured on the straight. And Steph speeding as he enters the pit lane, having to go and change out a front wing from that collision. Poppy looking down the inside. Will he get it? He sends it. Is it there? He stays very snug to the curb, and Mirko will take the better line, get the better exit, and hold on to the position. However, he is nearly 2 seconds back from Dark Inferno. Without a slipstream or DRS, he will have quite a job ahead of him to keep the McLaren in his rearview mirror on this upcoming straight if Poppy can keep it safe throughout the remainder of this lap. Connor not too far back from him either, so he may be able to get up to the back end of his teammate on this straight as well. Does Nice Job Made have any shot at finally passing Lemkis? I don't think so, and it doesn't look like he's trying too hard. 80% ERS still stored up. Can B-Rob defend from Sick Boy come from behind? I don't think so either. That's medium tires too hard. Sick Boy will get the spot. He's up into P5. Poppy will get the spot. Mirko's still battling though. No, he takes it back, and now it's 3 wide nearly as the... Oh, Connor Kidd does relent. Lets his teammate go ahead, and Poppy does hold on to it, but now he'll be under attack on this straight. Still nothing from Nice Job Made in Lemkis. They will hold. As that's Robert Diaz getting past... Oh, geez. Pit. As the Alfa Romeo boys continue their battle against the McLaren. Quite an intimidating view from the POV of Poppy. He's been battling very hard and very well, but will be in P10 behind Connor Kidd and Mirko now. But this track does not relent, and you need to stay on your toes if you want to save your spot. Even there, looking for a move down the inside, doesn't have it. These medium tires, up to 11 laps, may start losing some time against the hards as Poppy loses it. No, he lost a bit of traction, had to control his car. JKS, rightfully so, took the spot but couldn't do it cleanly. Did not get a good enough view to see if that was one or the other's fault, but certainly started with Poppy losing traction and having to slow down mid-corner. He goes flying off the track for the second time this race after turn 1, lap 1, and a tough race from the McLaren. Lemkis holding on to his 6/10 gap as Sick Boy flies by McLaren. No defense possible from Luke J. Gilly there. As B-Rob and Dark started together, still together. Connor Kidd going down the inside of Mirko, but goes way too deep, and that will mean Mirko will get past him. I think so. It should. Yes. No, that's Lemkis, the race leader, goes into the pits. That will leave Nice Job Mate and Tristan leading the front. And once they pit, it will be Sick Boy, Dark, and then it goes to the Alfa Romeos. On track is, look at JKS going off track seemingly for an inside move on the 2 in turn 1. They're going wheel by wheel. Once again, Mirko trying to hold it, and he does. Does Connor Kidd have any chance to get ahead of JKS? He does not. Poppy goes into the pits. Tom Taylor goes into the pits. It's Robert Diaz. He's been on the move ever since that incident, and there he keeps moving up into P9 down the inside of Connor Kidd, and he seems to be racing well today. Robert does. Started on pole, lost the lead, and then suffered a big collision with Sick Boy on that straight, in which Sick Boy was able to come out of it perfectly clean. Oh, is JKS trying to slow down to give Mirko the corner, but almost finds Robert in his back end, and that will mean Connor is right up on the back of the Mercedes. Meanwhile, Nice Job Mate does have a 1.5 lead, and then a second from Tristan and Sick Boy, but that gap will be shrinking. Dark Inferno, I believe, didn't make a move on B-Rob. I thought that was the position that they were in before. As JKS and Robert getting by on Mirko, but Mirko battling back once again. Going into this last corner, Robert Diaz will come out ahead. And there goes Luke J. Gilly into the pits, another medium runner. Going into his first stop, and both Robert and Mirko, they're going way too wide. That will mean Connor will have the much better exit. Will it mean Connor have the lead into turn one? No, that will still belong to Robert. Mirko trying to find the inside edge on his teammate, unable to. MOC and Lemkis battling. There'll be MOC moving ahead as Lemkis comes out on the fresh, hard tires. And for now, a little bit of a break. Sick Boy just 3/10 back from Tristan already. The man is flying. We'll keep an eye on this gap between Dark and Sick Boy to see how equal their paces are, as they are on the same strategy, same tires, and same setup even, I believe, as well. So how much of a step does Sick Boy have on the rest of the grid? We may be able to find out now. Oh, as he goes flying and he goes into the front of Dark! What happened? Oh, and that's a front wing gone for Dark. That's a 5-second penalty for Sick Boy. And a virtual safety car. Sick Boy losing it on that uphill turn where you want to shift down into second gear to maximize power, but if you do, just one of those ones that can really send you spinning quite easily. Real messy going in here, as I'm not sure what was happening there. Mirko will receive a 5-second penalty. No idea if it is deserved. Dark heads into the pits, and that is not ideal. That completely throws his strategy in the bin. He was hoping to take those hards all the way to the end. Quite a good safety car, or VSC at least, for people like B-Rob or Nice Job Mate who are getting a cheap pit stop out of it. They were probably looking to come in soon enough. Sky picks up a penalty speeding. VSC is ended. Tristan is at the front by 10 seconds. And to be honest, I have no clue why he didn't pit, why he wouldn't have used that opportunity. Maybe he had passed the pit lane entrance when the VSC came out, but it would have been a fantastic time to do so. Dark and Sick Boy will go into the mediums, as will JKS, and that virtual safety car, an incident between Sick Boy, really just Sick Boy and himself, and then the front wing of Dark has thrown this race for a loop. Robert still should be able to take these hards for the remaining 13 laps. So it is pretty much as you see it for our standings. Aside from Tristan, who will need to get a pit stop in, it should be everyone on their last stint. Here goes Lemkis with the DRS and slipstream on Nice Job Mate. Can Nice Job Mate defend at all? I don't think so. Is a switchback there? No, Lemkis closes it off very well, moves up into P6. As Mirko heads into the pits, does he have wing damage? I don't want to miss any action, but this is very interesting. I'm not sure why he would pit unless he did have damage. Man, am I missing anything? I don't think so. He's serving a time penalty. That was the one that he got for Dark under the virtual safety car, and there goes the wing. So, bummer for Mirko. Connor Kidd is in P3 though. And remember, Tristan still with the pit stop. There's a big 6-second gap from Lemkis to pit, but only a 4/10 gap from Nice Job Mate to Lemkis. So some close battling going on here. It's Steph and Mirko. They're trading spaces. And again, this race just looks a lot different than it did just a few minutes ago. There were lots of close gaps. And now most of the grid is separated by a matter of seconds as opposed to tenths. Mirko, one of the spots still worthy of watching though. He's just a half second behind Steph. They're both on relatively new mediums. Connor Kidd, he's 4/10 back from Robert. Robert seems a bit squirrely out of this last corner. Will it cost him anything? Connor's only got 8% ERS to work on. He does look for the inside, but Robert goes very deep. It seemed like Connor Kidd might have been ready to back out of it, but then Robert went so deep he almost poked again. Positions will hold. Lemkis trying to get at nice job, who I think got the spot on him just this last lap. That Sick Boy set in the fastest lap, and there goes Steph and Mirko battling again. Steph's off the track. Has to yield the position to Mirko. Not sure how he got there. Can he make a rebuttal on this straight? Don't think so. A bit of a sliding exit will cost him nearly a half second. Lots of close racing over the course of these 17 laps have led us to a spot in which there's not a lot of close racing. Only 3 drivers are within DRS detection of the one in front of them. Connor not able to make any move on Robert. Gets mighty close though, depending on how the two take this last turn. There may be a chance for the Alfa Romeo driver to snag P2 as Tristan is hanging on to these mediums. And frankly, I can't believe that he's surviving. There goes Connor using up some ERS to go on the inside, and now he makes contact with Robert, who goes flying off. Another incident for the Mercedes driver. Connor seemed to lose it as well. Pitt will pull up into P2 now, and it just doesn't stop. Especially for Robert, who is involved in yet another incident. Reports open after the race. He's still very close behind Connor Kidd now. I'm not sure if Connor Kidd flew off as well as Robert, or if he was trying to slow down to possibly give him the spot back before he saw him way off the track. Regardless, these tires must be feeling pretty cozy. A yellow flag in Sector 2, that's for Lemkis. Once the race leader is now parked off the track, that will allow B-Rob, Luke J. Gilly, and maybe his teammate, yes, to get by him. He will join in front of Sick Boy. And it would be unwise to try to bet on how this one is going to end. Twists and turns at nearly every lap here as Robert heads down the inside of Connor Kidd for a little bit of revenge. Oh, Connor goes for the switchback, and he may have gotten it there. A little bit of contact with the back end of Robert, but no, Robert does come out ahead. And Connor will have to fall behind. That Sick Boy going around Lemkis. The Lemkis, can he defend? Oh, move back up to try to see if Connor Kidd can get the inside of Robert. Not again. Oh, it's nearly deja vu for the two going into turn 1. They'll go side by side now, a little bit more friendly this time before the elbows really get out and Robert pulls ahead on this tricky exit. Well done, but the battling is surely not over as we head into a little hairpin here that is very conducive for dive bombs. None of that going on for now, but only 2/10 separate the two who have been battling amidst the incident for the last few laps. Mirko and MOC, they're going side by side, and that's Steph flying off the track, man. Tier 2 drivers, take note, this track can be slippery even for the best of us. Seems like nearly everyone has been involved in an incident except for Tristan, who not only is still in P1, but is somehow gained time and put 10 seconds from him to pit, which really surprises me on 18 lap mediums. We see nice job, mate. get ahead of Connor Kidd and get the DRS. Oh, though Connor Kidd did get the DRS from Robert, I believe, as well before that turn happened. Connor Kidd going down the inside, a big send. Can Nice Job Mate have anything to say about it? He tries to look for the cutback. It'll just pull to even. And hold your breath. Is this one going to be safe? Oh, a little bit of contact between the Alfa Romeo and the Mercedes, but nothing that will ruin this battle as Connor Kidd now goes on the inside. Nice Job Mate will fall behind. Can he get any line on this second turn? There's so much sliding on these tires. He has to slow down to control it. I think both of them were sliding a bit. Oh, and Connor's still sliding. That will let Nice Job Mate have another go at him into this hairpin. It just doesn't stop here. No moves finally being made, although he may have been waiting for the switchback. It's going to be tough to do it now. He's still about a car length behind Connor Kidd. And now that gap from Pitt to Tristan is starting to shrink back towards the 9-second mark. Still something to keep a watchful eye on, as I'm still very impressed with Tristan's tire management. He may have stretched these long enough to go on to softs, which I frankly thought was a terrible strategy heading into the race, a medium to softs. But Tristan making it look good today. He will give up P1 and head into the pits. We'll see where he comes out. He will certainly have a lot of work to do if he wants to get back up into the podium contention, as quite a few cars make their way down the checkered flag straight right now past him. There goes 2 cars, 3 cars, 4. Will B-Rob get past? Yes. Will Luke J. Gilly get past? Yes. And Tristan coming out in P11, it looks like, or P10. No, P11. Dart goes flying past. Tristan coming out in P11 will have some space to him, so nobody he'll have to worry about behind him. Mirko picks up 3-second time penalties, and that's one of the first ones we've seen today. A fairly easy track to keep the penalties within reason, just as long as you don't go too wide on some of these exits. And is Tristan looking to attack the Ferrari driver on these fresh softs? Dark has got no slipstream or DRS to help him out. Will Tristan get aggressive here? Will he wait for a DRS? And that's Poppy going into the pits just 6 laps into his stint on the hards. It's been a frustrating race from Poppy. Is Dark, can't keep up. Seems he may have let off the throttle there coming out of that exit in fear of spin. That'll mean Tristan will get ahead. He'll head up into P10 with 2 seconds to make it to P9. We have 7 laps left to go in this one. Sick Boy now, 2/10 back from the McLaren of Luke J. Gilly. Luke trying to cover the inside, but he can't fully. Sick Boy will get ahead going into the turn. And does Luke have a chance to come back at him? No, he does not. Sick Boy on those 5-lap mediums is looking pretty racy at the moment. He's got 3.5 seconds to catch up to B-Rob on the hard tires. As Sick Boy sets the fastest lap there. And still the battle to watch up at the top is between Alfa Romeo and Mercedes. Connor Kidd less than a second back from Nice Job Mate. Although Connor Kidd on much slippier tires than the Mercedes, which you can see evidenced by his little slide coming out of that turn. So Nice Job Mate may be able to put some space behind him. And Pitulo AZM, take notice, is nearly 2 seconds ahead of Robert Diaz right now with no plans of stopping. That means Robert will have 6 laps to try to catch Pitt purely on pace. No more stops left in this race if all things go well for the drivers. It is only coming down to how quickly you can get around this track. Tristan and Lemkes having a bit of a battle. I'm not sure what happened there, but Dark will... Oh, Lemkes goes flying off again for the second time this race. difficult from Lemkis. At one point it looked like it would be a stellar performance for the AlphaTauri, but for the second time he finds himself outside the boundaries of the track trying to get back on, and he will fall down into P11 as Dark will move back into DRS zone of the Aston Martin. Will be very difficult to try to catch up to him as he collects 3 seconds of penalties there. Tristan setting the fastest lap on those fresh softs. Still not gaining much time to JKS though. He's 2.8 seconds back. Only 5 laps to go, and this one has gone quick, it feels. Robert has closed that gap very quickly. It's down to 1.2 seconds to the lead, while just a few minutes ago it was 1.8. It is now less than a second. So the Haas, trying to make his way to the first race win, is gonna have to do some defending to do it. As I think that's Steph off the side. Yes, another slide for Steph. Robert will get the DRS, no chance of an overtake going into this hairpin, but it gets closer and closer. Connor still staying within arm's reach of nice job made as B-Rob hoping to get into the battle as well. No move to be made here as he pulls very close to the Mercedes, and we'll see how the exits of this turn go, which could give Connor a chance for an overtake. Nice job mate, handles it very well. He'll have 5/10 of space on this straight. It should be enough if he can take the line well, which he does. He slides a little bit deep, but nothing close to enough for Connor to make a move. And nice job mate will hold that half-second gap as Robert closes in on the leader. Would be an incredible day from Mercedes as it stands. 2 cars on the podium, 1 challenging for the race win, with 4 laps left to go in Shanghai. Just 3/10 from Robert, who has had his fair share of incidents today. I'm honestly not sure how he's managed to find himself up at the top of the table. Perhaps it's just due to everyone else having incidents to deal with as well. As here we go, this may be the straight, this may be the time the lead changes. Will it be for the last time this race? Robert Diaz just 2/10 back from Pitt. He'll pull over to the right, look to make a move down the inside. Pitt will let him go first. Will he look for a snapback? No, he won't. He'll fall behind the Mercedes as Robert gets a fantastic exit, instantly putting 5/10 of air behind him to the Haas. JKS and Tristan are battling. They're going side by side. We still got some action here in Shanghai. Tristan pulls ahead and secures the spot. That was nearly a 2-second gap that he's closed in the past couple of laps with those soft tires. He's got a second now to the McLaren ahead of Luke J. Gilly. Nice job, mate. Still holding off Connor Kidd, and this will be a brilliant defense if he can manage it for the podium. I remember commenting on Nice Job Mate's defensive skills in Monaco. He wasn't able to keep Robert and Sick Boy behind him for the entirety of the race, but he did so for a good few laps, and that practice is coming into effect now as he tries to hold Connor Kidd on those 21 lap old hards behind him. And Steph, unfortunately, just racking up the penalties. He's up to 18 seconds. I'm sure a good lot of those will be removed, but nonetheless, hate to see that on your screen. Sick Boy now, he's putting the pressure on B-Rob. B-Rob has been racing very well, had another very consistent race. However, he does have a little bit of a tire disadvantage at this point, perhaps. I'm not exactly sure when those mediums start losing out to the hards. And no moves going on to this last hairpin, and Robert seems to be running away with this race win. As soon as he got the lead, he put a 1.5 seconds away to Pitt, and it will be a tall order for Pitt to make that magically disappear somehow. B-Rob just attempts back from Connor the Kid all of a sudden. He's the one going on the attack. Can he get it done around the outside? He does it to turn one. Connor Kidd going on the very, very inside line, holding off Sick Boy. Sick Boy trying to see if he can get around the outside, but I can't imagine there will be enough grip there. He's running up on the back of the Alfa Romeo and does manage to get wheel to wheel with him, and that means he'll get the inside going into the hairpin. Connor going quite deep will lose the position and give it up to Sick Boy. I don't think he can get it back, at least not right now. Going into this long bend, Sick Boy up in P5, B-Rob in P4 as Connor loses 2 positions. Just like that, after battling so long to try to nab Nice Job Mate, he is the one that gets past. And now, can either of these two challenge Nice Job Mate? There's only 2 laps left to go, but if there's a pace advantage, they may be able to do it. B-Rob needs to get DRS from Nice Job Mate, or he is losing this spot, and it seems to be that way. I don't think B-Rob got it. Sick Boy clearly does. It will be short work to get past this Ferrari. Connor Kidd has fallen 8 laps back, and it's those 22-lap hards, I'm sure, that are really starting to rear their worn heads. B-Rob does hold off Sick Boy. Sick Boy will go for the undercut and go side by side. Don't give this up, B-Rob. They're going side by side. B-Rob goes deep. Can he hold on to a decent exit? He does, but it's just nothing he can do when Sick Boy has the medium tires and a DRS zone. That will be 2 laps left to go. As now Nice Job making it back on the back of Pitt. Pitt similarly, just like Connor Kidd, on those 20-odd lap hards. That will mean Nice Job Mate will have a very good chance to nab P2 if he can get aggressive in these final laps. And Robert Diaz has all but secured his first victory of Season 3, his first one since winning Season 2. Been a rocky start to the season, but this is the Robert Diaz that we have come to expect. Regardless of incidents, he has pulled out a masterful race, nailed the strategy, pulled off the overtakes he needed to, and has made it a very nice and calm end to the race for him. It may not be nice and calm for some of the lot behind him, though. We have P3, P2, and the even P4 still being contested over. Pitt is so susceptible right now. He is just hung out to dry. He's going nearly 10 miles per hour slower than the 2 cars behind him. Can he hold off at least one of them? Sick Boy's trying to get Pitt as well. Nice Job Mate surely gets him. But now Sick Boy pulling side by side, and Pitt does defend enough. For now, Sick Boy gets a better exit, takes that corner much shorter, and will pull ahead of the Haas. Pitt does have DRS and a slipstream to try to answer back, but it's going to be difficult to do so. B-Rob still trying to defend from Connor Kidd behind him. He's hanging tight for now, and this is the last lap, ladies and gentlemen, of Shanghai. P2 up for grabs, and there is heavy competition for it. It looks like it will be Sick Boy or Nice Job Mate who will be following Robert and standing next to him on that podium spot. 4/10, 3/10 separate Sick Boy and Nice Job Mate, and I can't see this going well for Nice Job Mate, knowing that this long straight is approaching. Unless he can play some safe and clever tricks to let Sick Boy pass beforehand, I feel as though he is doomed to get blown by with this DRS advantage. As we go into these tight 2 turns, Sick Boy spun here once before. Can he keep it clean now? He does, and he will stay close to the Mercedes, which will allow him to get an easy pass on the straight, unless I am miscalculating very wrong. No, I am not. Before the DRS even kicks in, it is Sick Boy's spot. I guess we'll watch the hairpin to make sure nothing else happens, but that looks like a P3 finish for Nice Job Mate, his first podium. Oh no, and Pitt and B-Rob are battling. There's still action to be had. B-Rob, did he lose anything? Or no, that was Pitt who may have lost it. But he does hold on. That's Robert Diaz in the Mercedes, taking his first race win of Season 3. He's joined by his teammate, Nice Job Mate, in P3. And Being sandwiched by the two is Sick Boy, starting from the back of the grid, making his way up to P2 despite a spin and trip into the front bumper of Dark Inferno. Pitt with a great race, can't quite hold on to the podium finish. He finishes P4. B-Rob, Connor Kidd, y'all can read. What a race. Very, very, very action-packed. Lots of incidents. Not sure if these positions will hold as the reports come in, but it was a fun one to be a part of. Congratulations, Robert DS. I guess I may send out some interview invites, but who even knows who's worthy of being interviewed at this point. Okay, I'm gonna send it in the channel. Not even gonna ping anyone. Oh, Mirko gets 20 seconds? I didn't even know that was a thing. Tristan wants an interview. Oh. There's the podium celebration, and there is the final results board. Time will tell if the results stay that way, but what a shake-up. You can see just grid spots all switched around, and we'll get a couple drivers in here to give their thoughts on the race. Tristan, how you doing?
Hello.
All right, we'll start with Tristan racing under the Chinese flag, your home race. How does it feel in front of the home crowd? Were your parents able to make it out today?
It felt really good.
I mean, you must know this track well. I know you grew up karting around these turns. How does it feel to, well, I don't know, how's your evaluation of your performance? Was it a good race, bad race for you?
I'd say it was a very good race for myself, but I took the wrong call with strategy-wise. I stayed on the mediums until lap 20, and then I went on to softs.
Yeah, what was your tire wear looking there? Because in my few practice races, mediums just burn up quite quickly, so I was surprised you were able to get that much out of them.
They only had 65. 65 was on the front left, and everything else was in the 50s, so...
Fair enough.
I could have done more if I wanted, but didn't. But it's what it is. I'd take a P7, maybe a P6 if I can get 5 seconds removed.
Yeah, I think there are going to be quite a lot of reports coming in here. Did you get a good point of view of any incidents you saw or were involved in?
Well, I got a 5-second time penalty because turn 1 I overtook Pitulo and I didn't give the place back because it was turn 1. I didn't really want to cause much carnage by slowing down and people.
Wait, but did you did you like overtake him off track or something?
No, it was yellow flags, but like they literally just came out as I overtook him, so.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I'll be able to get it removed or not, but we'll just have to see.
How do you, I mean, you came out your season debut in Tier 1 and started on pole since then. It's been a struggle to get back on top. Do you still feel like you have the pace to start on the front row with these guys, or do you think that first race may have been the peak of your pace?
Well, it's all about practice for me. If I don't practice the track, I won't do well on it.
Sure.
Like Monaco, I didn't put much practice into, and I ended up really far back. But Spa, I'm quite good at Spa. I won it last season in Tier 2, so hopefully looking for a good result there next week. So
good stuff. Well, good race, man. I mean, yeah, good race. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm not sure if anybody else is speaking in the party. Robert DS is here. Do we want to hear from the Irishman? Are you with us, Robert? How does it feel to temporarily have that win before it gets cruelly stripped away from you from the FIA?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think.
Oh, you forgot.
I may have.
I'm done for.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who doesn't have an incident this race. It seemed like everybody was getting involved. I know you two had a scuffle, speaking of Robert and Sick Boy, on that straight. Either of you want to give a little insight into what happened there?
I thought I was ahead of him. I wasn't, and I just turned in. There's not much more to it.
Oh.
To be fair, the only consolation I might have is I lost a lot more time than he did, so I don't know if that... I did lose about 15 seconds from it, if that maybe counts as any penalty for myself.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only consolation I'd have if the FIA aren't generous.
Yeah, I know some guys in there. I'll put in a good word for you. I'll try to vouch.
Thanks.
Well, congratulations on the race, Robert.
I will vote honestly.
I honestly.
I don't think that's gonna help me.
I don't know. I might not report it, to be fair, because I think a time penalty's coming my way after what happened between me and Dark.
I think Steph's gonna report it because apparently when I was sideways or whatever, he's driven into me and he's gonna blame me for that. So it'll probably end up in the same way. Anyway,
It was like a war zone.
Yeah, I knew I had to keep you behind or you were just gone. So it was kind of do or
wow,
die.
so this may possibly be handed over to your teammate, Rob. Nice job, mate. I believe was P3 and incident free, so he may be getting this win retroactively. Sick Boy, how's the race for you? Starting from the back seems like something you're getting used to doing.
Wow. Yeah, but it's
just factual.
Yeah, it is quite factual. I don't know, I had a really nice start. I kind of enjoyed that. And then the incident with Rob, it didn't really affect me very much. I think I lost like 1 position and a few seconds, so it was quite fun. It was a really, really good battle. I think there was a battle between like me, Rob, and I think Mirko or Conakid and a McLaren. I'm not actually too sure, but I just remember this big 4-way battle, and there was so much contact between all of us. Robert DS was going for some ridiculous dive bombs on everyone. And I was really enjoying it, and then unfortunately it was cut short after that shocking incident. But apart from that, then what happened was I was kind of, racing my own race. There was not many people near me. I think the lads who hadn't stopped were all the way in front of me, and then unfortunately I hit too much curb. I think it was turn 11, the left-handed before that right-hander that's banked just before the big straight.
Yep.
And completely lost the rear, was spun around facing Robert DS, the 2 Ferraris, and at that moment I thought to myself, PJ's not going to be very happy with me because I'm going to be taking out both of his Ferrari drivers.
Very correct. That's what I was thinking in that moment too. When you drove straight into the front end of Dark, it didn't look like you were taking it easy on him, in my opinion.
I mean, I need to see that POV. I don't remember it that way personally, PJ, but maybe that's just my
what do you
memory
mean?
being skewed.
You were facing the wrong way.
I remember it as I was spun around. I remember it as I was spun around because of the curb, and because Dark Inferno wanted no ghosting to be enabled in Tier 1, and everyone loves it, and because ghosting isn't a thing, he hit into me. I do want to see what happened though. I want to see your reaction. I can't wait to watch that one back.
It's funny, I'm pretty sure I was speaking right before it, saying like, oh, you and Dark are on the same tires, same setup, there's a 2-second gap, let's see how the pace differs, and right as I switch on to Dark, I see you facing the wrong way, going straight into him.
Oh, dear. Yeah, it was
well
a tactical
played.
decision.
You're getting pretty clever with these tactics. You're refining them. Had some work in Monaco, and now really pulling out the big guns. Binning 2 drivers and still ending up on the podium is a pretty impressive.
I mean, if you can't win, you might as well just start using your mind. I mean, Robert DS hasn't been the cleanest this week anyway.
So one incident.
Slow driver.
So I mean,
in comparison, yeah.
Let's just hope that when we're not sitting in the commentary box together, PJ, I don't start punting you off, like pushing you off your chair or something.
I would be interested to see how you would try.
I've got very long arms.
All right. Well, we'll do it from the interview press box for VFL Season 3 race. What race is it? Was that 4 or 5?
China. It's
4,
4.
yeah.
Yeah, I know it's China.
Oh dear.
Season 3 race China, and that will do it for us. Congratulations to the folks that ended up on the podium. Hopefully you can stay there. We'll see you back same time, same place for a trip around the iconic Spa Francorchamps. Adios, y'all. Have a good rest of your night. Rest of your night, and we'll see you back here on Sunday for the Tier 2 race in Shanghai. Adios.